So I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Sandra Edwards. Well, it was never on my bucket list to jump out of a plane when it was 10,000 feet above the earth. That was my sister's dream. She's very quick and she always knows what she wants. Come, it's my 70th birthday. I'm going to jump out of an airplane. It'll be so much fun. Everybody's coming. Some jumping and, some not. Well, 70th birthday. Of course, I'll be there for his 70th birthday. But jump out of an airplane? I don't think so. Well, the day came. It was a beautiful day. No wind, not a cloud in the sky. It took several hours to get to this little airfield outside of Three Forks, Montana. People were arriving. Coolers, folding chairs, spectator sport. Who knew? There's a little building there. It sufficed as an office. I go in to see what's happening. People are signing up. And I'm thinking, now how many times do you have an opportunity to jump out of an airplane? Kind of scary, but everybody does it and it seems to work out. I think I can do it. I grab the form and sign it, give the guy some money, and I'm going to jump. Oh. I'm going to jump. Soon it was my turn. And I'm moving towards that plane with very reluctant legs. The tandem guy, he has a camera on his wrist. And he's taking pictures of me. And he's trying to engage me in conversation. We get into the plane. It's so little, we have to sit on the floor. And there's no door on this airplane. You could just fall right out. Well, I got up to the tandem guy. He's talking to me. Blah, 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 blah. Don't hear a word of it till he says, put your feet out the door. Put my feet out. And that's when my toes started talking to me. Oh, don't make us do it. We're gonna die. And then I blacked out. I simply blacked out. The next thing I know, we're free falling towards the earth, 1,000 miles a minute. Oh my God, what's wrong? Why doesn't he pull the cord? Well, finally he does pull the cord, and the parachute opens. Wow, this is beautiful. Look how green it is. And there are the 3 rivers coming together right there. And my people way down in that little speck of grass. Wow, what a perspective. And isn't that what I love? I just love perspective. That's what brought me to hand analysis, for the perspective that it could bring to my life. This is how it worked for me. I was a really shy kid, and my mom decided to give me a birthday party when I was 6 years old. My birthday's on September 8th, so very convenient for school. She drove me around town, and I had to go to the stranger's door with the invitation and give it to them. Now, can you imagine how that would be for a shy little girl to go to the stranger's door? Like, they probably don't even like me. One house that we went to, a little girl answered the door. Now that's unusual because it's usually the adult of the house who answers the door. But here she is. Her name is Paula, and we became fast friends. In fact, we're still friends to this day. It was a couple years later at school. You know, people are practicing their athletic stuff, jumping in the pits to see how far they can jump and running to see who they can beat. I didn't like this stuff. And you know, I wasn't even good at it. One day I come to school. Nobody's there. Hello? 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 Are you there? It turns out they've gone to a neighboring town to have their athletic competition. And I had been forgotten. I had simply been forgotten. I guess nobody liked me. You know, this is really adding up, that I'm just not enough. I'm just not a whole person. Then I have another memory. I have another memory of when we're living on the ranch. I'm living there with my mom and my dad and my baby sister. I think I'm about 7 years old. And I'm going out to the pasture to help Dad move the horses. He wants to move them from one pasture to another pasture. And it's my job to stand in this certain spot, look really big, and go like this. So here come the horses. Oh, they're so big! Oh. And I'm thrown against the fence.
Oh, God.
They were so close I could smell them. I could feel the heat of their bodies. I look over at my dad, and he's going something like, I'm imagining he's saying, "Damn, can't that girl do anything right?" Well, it took hand analysis to give me the perspective that I really needed to figure out these events in my life. One of the first things I learned was about my simian crease. It's a line across the top of the hand. It's a gift marker. It's about the headline and the heart line running on the same track. So my thoughts and my feelings are all imbued with each other. The gift of it is that I can really, it gives me, the word escapes me right now, but it gives me some focus and some real energy for things that I love to do. The challenge of it is communication. I will say something to someone and it doesn't come out the way I expect it to, so they sometimes don't know what I'm talking about, and vice versa. It comes back to me, the information will come into me, and I just don't get it the way it was meant, the way it was given to me. Well, with this perspective, I have to look at these past incidences in a different way. Like, Dad is probably not saying, "Damn, can't that kid do anything?" He's probably saying something like, "Wow, she's still standing. Wow, she's still alive." And then the incident with the birthday invitations, going to the door and being so afraid. Well, I met my best friend. We all had a great time at the party. I guess maybe they liked me anyway. The incident with, at school, them forgetting me for the athletic day. Well, you know, those kids, I'm probably really different than those kids. And hand analysis has helped me see that being different is not a bad thing. I can embody myself for who I am. Another marker that I learned that right in the beginning of hand analysis was the line of clairvoyance. I have a big fat line of clairvoyance. Now I knew nothing about that before hand analysis, but now I know that I'm just steeped in it. It's just the way I see the world. So I remember one time, about 20 years ago, I went to look at a house. I was wanting to buy it. And I realized that this was the house I wanted to have. But complications, somebody else put in a bid as well. I knew I had to have it. I did everything possible to get it. I stamped my feet and I cried and carried on until I actually got the house. And I still live there. I mean, I knew it was a great place for me. My clairvoyance must have been really kicking in at that time. The other thing I learned was that I was a healer. I'm a catalyst for growth, for change. That made me feel really great. I went back to my work knowing that I was helping all these people and giving them meaning for their lives, and it was nice. Now, I hesitate to say healer because I think that you will think medicine, doctors. Well, I'm not that. But I do know that when I read people's hands, they feel good about themselves. And they learn to use their gifts and their talents in a way that brings what they want into their lives. In other words, I will give you a whole new perspective of your life, and you'll never have to jump out of an airplane.
All right, so what are some of the standout moments or things that moved you or things that popped for you out of Sandra's story? Lynn.
So this is probably the third time I've heard the airplane story, and I've loved how it's progressed. And I was so much more engaged in listening to it this time than I have before, because it was more interesting.
And what stood out for you about the airplane story?
It's just the visuals she created, like there's the rivers, there's that. I could see it, and just like, and then your toes were talking.
Yeah.
Loudly.
Great. Yes.
I really love the horses, I can just see you out there, like, they're coming! Like, oh my God! Really love it.
Yes.
Yes, when I first met Sandra, I heard the horse story on stage. And I've heard it many times, but I think I never quite got the intense drama of it until today. It was like, it was so vivid, I could practically smell the horses too.
So Sandra's illustrated something that is so important to me as a coach for people who want to tell their stories, as well as a storyteller myself, which is how can we, regardless of what the reason is that we're telling our story, how can we invite people into the movie? So when you said, the visuals of it, that you could see the rivers, that you could see the various, the toes talking, that when you can invite people into your movie, then all of a sudden that story lives in a whole other way. So thank you for illustrating that so beautifully. Yes. You had your hand up?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing you tell the story. And I actually think you should take your story on the road. The way you presented it, I was not only entertained, but I was engaged in listening to you. And, I mean, from your toes talking loudly to being slammed up against the wall, and yet speaking from such, I don't know if I'm using the word correctly, but comedic way. It was like I was right there with you, and laughing and listening at the same time. So, you may be a woman of a few words, but I don't know you that way anymore.
Well, I'm glad everybody laughed because I wanted it to be fun.
I love your story so vividly presented that we were part of it. I also appreciated a lot the combination between who you are as a child, who you become, and also your gifts and how you were able to connect the dots. And my curiosity is, when did you learn about hand analysis?
Well, I think that's a great question, and what I'm going to do is hold that one because we're going to have a little bit of a panel at the very end where people can ask questions.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just looking for what is the feedback that can help Sandra know that you did such a great job and that you'll be inspired to carry forward. So she created the parachute story the first time you did Rockstars with me, which was probably a year and a half or so ago, and then we've just created this new piece in this last session, and so it's evolving. So the more she can get feedback of this evolution, we know the parachute story is solid. So how we can move this forward? And I'm not looking for feedback or instruction, but really for what is it that works, so that she knows what to build on. I love this question. Would you mind holding it? And then you can even ask it from the panel of how did you get into hand analysis? Because there are probably other people who'd like to know that too. Did you have your hand up? Yeah.
What you were saying about the integration, that's what really touched me, is that these are great stories, and you wove what's so important to you and your passion, and how that relates to these stories. So to me, it wasn't just a story in a story. What wove in was your hand analysis and your passion for it, and how it helped you to understand yourself, and then how you've helped others to understand themselves. So it was just beautifully and masterfully woven together.
Thank you.
Nice.
You could thank Vicki for that.
That was the best opening I have ever heard, that it was never on your bucket list. I totally relate to that. And then to be able to change perspectives was so dramatic. And I think that's the nature of being able to read hands as well. You see one picture, but it's totally different in the interpretation. So I also love the integration of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.